Six Flags Mexico is a park that really surprised me. And it wasn't just because I was ecstatic about being in another country or because of the hype surrounding some of the rides here. No, I actually thought that this place was incredible all around. Honestly, if you make a checklist of everything you could want in an amusement park, Six Flags Mexico does go above and beyond in most every category. But while this park is beautiful, has some wonderful operations and amazing staff and guests, we'll be particularly highlighting the rides in this video, and further specifically, the roller coasters. Currently, there's 9 at this park, and I was lucky enough to walk away with all but one. That one coaster was the Dark Knight coaster, which was closed due to COVID-19 because it is an indoor attraction. Fortunately though, the ride is identical to another coaster I've ridden at another Six Flags park. So really, it was just a missed credit, not much of a missed experience, so oh well. But other than that, I found that this park checked off nearly every gap in their coaster collection. I'll tell you, for only having 9 coasters, this is a pretty great lineup of rides. But enough rambling, let's get right into the list. These are my top 8 roller coasters at Six Flags Mexico. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's dive right in. Number 8, Superman Krypton Coaster. While the Krypton Coaster at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas is a monstrous floorless coaster by B&M, the one in Mexico City is a tiny little Zamperla Jr. coaster. That isn't to say that it didn't do what it was meant to do, because I thought it was quite enjoyable and smooth for its respective ride type. But I mean, you guys are seeing it on screen right now, it isn't very big, and so I can't put it any higher than the bottom spot. Decent kiddie ride, moving on. Number 7, Boomerang. Normally, I tend to find most boomerangs overhated, and sometimes I even walk away really enjoying them. But unfortunately, the one in Mexico City has not stood the test of time. It does, however, have an excuse, with it being the first Vekoma boomerang ever built alongside 2 others in Canada and Belgium. But yeah, other than a pretty color scheme, there's not much good I can say about this boomerang. A lot of head smashing on this one, more so than any other boomerang I've ridden. Not the most pleasant of ride experiences. Number 6, Tsunami. Yes, I decided to put a Zero Tivoli coaster over a Boomerang, but in my defense, this ride is a bit more than your average kids coaster. It is fairly smooth, it does have some decent laterals, it does have some cool rock work, and it also has a pretty nice theme. I'd even say it's my favorite of the Tivoli coasters I've ridden, though that's not saying much because there isn't a whole lot it's up against. So it's a decent ride, and as I said with Krypton Coaster, it's only so big so I can only put it so high. However, I did enjoy it for what it was. Number 5, Wonder Woman. Our first good thrill coaster to make the list is a pretty typical SNS 40 free spin coaster. But before you roll your eyes again at this ride model, let me back it up by saying this. Latin America, and even just Mexico, has no other coaster like this one. So yes, it may be a bit too common in the States, but I think it works just fine here because of its location on the map. Plus, I'm seemingly one of the few enthusiasts that really does not mind these attractions. I've ridden quite a few now, and I always walk away thinking the flipping was fun, smooth, and intense. And plus, this one has some pretty decent theming in the entrance and the same soundtrack that can be found at Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster at the aforementioned Fiesta Texas Park. Pretty solid ride, nothing super unique as a whole, but it does get a pass for being unique to the area. Number 4, Joker. At first, you might assume that this is one of those Pandemonium coasters that you can find at a lot of other Six Flags parks. And while the ride type is the same, the Mexico City version has 3 very notable differences. First of all, the layout is not a clone of the others. It's quite unique actually, with the only other identical ride being at Bon Bon Land in Denmark. Also, it has a lot more theming than the rest, both in the queue line and even on ride. I was surprised to see it all working, which by the way, there is a few special effects too, so it is a really cool package. Last but not least, and definitely my favorite of the differences, is that this one always runs trimless. Every single time we blazed through one of the mid-course brake runs, I said to myself, okay, it's gotta trim at the next one. But no, the whole way through the thing was actually flying. So much so that I'd go as far as to say that this is a thrill ride, whereas the Pandemonium clones can be seen as a high-end family coaster. Overall though, really surprising ride. Just make sure you do it first or at the end of your visit because it does tend to have one of the longest lines in the park. Number 3, Batman the Ride. I know what you're thinking, did this guy just put a Vekoma SLC at number 3 in the park? Well, yes I did, but let me explain before you click off of the video. I think a vast majority of us can agree that the layouts on the SLCs are actually quite solid. The main problem all along has been that they're super rough, and the model's built up a reputation for this. But for a while now, I've always wondered what it would be like to experience the layout while not getting your head beat into a pulp. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. I know it may be hard to believe since it's in the same park with the roughest boomerang I've ever ridden, but shockingly, Batman ended up being much smoother than the other SLCs I've ridden. All of the inversions, all of the turns, everything was actually enjoyable, all thanks to how this coaster has been maintained over time. Don't exactly know what the park is doing to achieve this, but whatever it is, I hope they keep it going for the long run. Believe me, you guys aren't the only one shocked that Batman the Ride ended up being one of the best coasters in the park. Number 2, Superman Último Escape. Over the past couple years, the hype surrounding this giant Morgan hypercoaster has been climbing to very high levels. And while I've always figured it would be a super fun ride, I guess I never exactly understood why those who rode this were freaking out over it. Well, after getting many rides on Superman Último Escape, I finally get it. Matter of fact, depending on what you guys look for in a coaster, I could easily see this ride being number 1 in the park for you. I personally go as far as to ranking it above Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood, meaning yes, this is the best Morgan coaster in the world. So, why you may ask? How does a blend of abrupt ejector airtime and sustained flejector airtime sound? Also have a side of death-defying laterals. And don't forget about the positives, the pre-live section, oh, and one of my favorite parts, no trims at all. It's funny, meanwhile at Dorney Park and Worlds of Fun, you've got Steel Force and Mamba nearly coming to a halt on occasion. But not at Six Flags Mexico. Every single ride I got on Superman, it went flying through the mid-course. Thus, the return leg of airtime hills and that last turn before the brake run were absolutely incredible. The fact that I was contemplating whether or not this was the best ride in the park is saying something really amazing about it. This coaster is amazing, it is elite, and it is one of the new top 20 coasters I have ever ridden. Number 1, Medusa Steel Coaster. Wow guys, where do I even begin with Medusa? I guess I'll say that if we're judging this coaster based off of just daytime rides, Superman could actually be the best in the park. But once the sun goes down and the ride really warms up, that is when Medusa is truly unleashed to its fullest potential. I could not believe how remarkable the pacing was and how it didn't let up one bit until hitting the final brake run. I also couldn't believe how flawlessly executed the layout was with its compact blend of airtime, inversions, low bank turns, and fast changing maneuvers. None of this is even to mention the surprising amount of theming in the queue line, which is honestly quite immersive and really messes with your brain. But above all, Medusa Steel Coaster actually lived up to the hype. It was truly everything I was hoping it would be, and that's an incredible feat considering that most coaster enthusiasts think of this ride in a very high regard. I won't say that Medusa is like one of the world's best RMCs, especially because I haven't ridden all of them, but between the smaller to medium-sized to huge coasters built by the manufacturer, I'd say that this one falls in the medium-sized category and that it is one of the best in that category. Sorry if that was a bit confusing, but I think it was the best way for me to break it down for you guys because honestly, it is not the easiest to compare to a lot of the other RMCs. But regardless, I'm eternally grateful to have gotten a bunch of rides in on this thing, and let me just say, this park's top 2 of Medusa and Superman makes it more than worth coming out to Mexico City. What a ride, what a park, I could not believe how surreal this experience was. So with that, I thank you all for watching today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, hope you guys learned a thing or two about the fantastic coaster collection of Six Flags Mexico, and overall I'm very grateful that I was able to shine some light on this park, seeing as it's by far the most undocumented and least talked about park in the chain. But much to my surprise, it also ended up being one of the absolute best. So I would seriously encourage you guys to at least consider a trip to Mexico for one of the many reasons being that you get to check out this underappreciated amusement park. Thank you all again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.